Gentlemen, welcome to one best of three to decide the fate of the rest of the main qualifiers for the summit as number 7 for the EU part at the very least. Final game of the pre-qualifiers here. You saw the bracket before, put it up on the stream. So Vega Squadron versus Elements Pro Gaming. Yesterday we already saw Pro Dota make it out with a 1-0 win against Team Spirit and then a 2-0 against Elements, and frankly, Elements didn't look too good in that particular match. They did, however, beat Team Spirit in low bracket 2-0, knocking them out first. And now they have another chance up against Vega Squadron. Oh no, wait. Yeah. Wait, a mistake. Yeah, no, Vega beat Team 2-0, yeah. Vega beat Team Spirit 2-0. Okay, I was momentarily confused there, because rounds 1 was best of 1. Which Elements won actually against Vega. They dropped Vega down to the low bracket. Pro Dota was up against Team Spirit. So that's how it actually went. Sorry about that. But yeah. Vega Squadron out for revenge. As I said, they lost against Elements in the first round. That was a best of 1 though. This is a best of 3. So it's more of a dynamic and less susceptible to any sort of flukes or just drafting issues as it may be sometimes. Speaking of the draft, Magnus and Rubik versus Warlock and Axe. Fairly common heroes. Axe maybe not so much in the first phase, but Magnus definitely highly sought after. Haven't seen a CM yet though, which is almost unheard of here. Also one of the top, in fact the top pick in Kiev for a number of reasons. It doesn't give too much away in the draft. It's a great hero to have. Just for the arcane aura to help out the rest of your team and the rest of your lanes, making sure that they can spam all the spells that they want to without worrying. And of course, Crystal Nova, nice little nuke, and the Frostbite, absolutely amazing tool to just farm up the jungle and get free levels there, which don't all supports have. Sometimes, or mostly, most supports have to do some stacks and pulls and stuff like that. To get going in that fashion, which is much slower than just straight up farming jungle camps for level 1 with Frostbite. But yeah, don't see it being banned out, but it may well be picked up by one of these teams. Being said though, Warlock and Rubik both already rather defensive supports, so maybe you want to have something more aggressive here out of the 4 position for Elements. There's still the Earthspit in the pool if you want to go that route. Bird Breaker here that we've seen picked up every once in a while recently. And yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
Really no limits to where these drafts can go. I mean, the first 2 picks are rarely an indication of what's to come. Obviously, with the Magnus, you have some ideas, and you probably want to go for a melee-heavy hero like a Troll Warlord, which has a lot of attack speed to make use of the Empower, and same for Juggernaut, really. You can really utilize that buff up to its fullest. You don't want to go for a ranged hero necessarily, unless the draft necessitates it otherwise. It's still not the worst, obviously. You still get that 50% extra damage, which is super useful on a lot of stat-based ranged heroes. But obviously you don't get the cleave, you don't get the full package, and why would you settle for a discount package if you can get the full one in the draft here? EPG though, I'm spending some time thinking about it. Should really be the Juggernaut here though. That being said though, Axe on the field already maybe complicates things a little bit for them in their mind at least. You have that lockdown through the BKB. So for now they're gonna get the Clockwork first. I think, yeah, they've been running that out of the support position yesterday. Once again, not with too much success, I gotta say. Saw it in one game, didn't really get much of anything done. And this is always going to be the question. I mean, it's even as an offlane Clockwork, your worth is determined by how many levels you can get in the laning phase, and how quickly you can start ganking with like level 6, level 7, max out battery assault and the hook shot. As a support, that gets even harder. Especially now with this extra save coming out now. Vega Squadron going for the tasks, so that'll be most likely straight up offlane Axe instead of like a jungle 4 position kind of thing, and the Tusk will be the roamer with the Warlock babysitting whatever carry they want to pick up. So
10 seconds
potentially
remaining.
Tusk can kind of snowball in, save somebody
5
inside
seconds
the
remaining.
cogs when Clockwork comes in. Not the easiest thing to do for sure, but
Reserve time.
something to look out for. Uh-huh. EPG. It's a support clock and they still need a meteor. I guess that's another thing they could do. They could run more of a classic laning stage situation with a Clockwork offlane and a Magnus mid. I haven't seen Magnus mid in a long, long time. This is why I didn't think about it immediately, but it's definitely something worth keeping in mind. But now with the Lina, alright, it's
Dire team pick.
it's still technically possible to run Lina support, Magnus mid clock off, but I haven't seen it in a while. It's just not in the meta, and yeah, I think the clock support would be
10
the most
seconds
sensible
remaining.
choice here,
Prepare
because you
assassin.
don't want to have a Lina
Radiant team ban.
wasted more or less in a support position. That hero benefits so much from the levels and the gold that you get out of a core position. Templar Assassin though, not the easiest matchup in mid for sure, unless you get some
10
help.
seconds remaining.
Once again, if Clockwork can find the angles, he can easily set up
5
for some
seconds
kills here and there
remaining.
if he manages to wrap around from behind and um, get a good cog placement in or something
Dire
like that.
team
But
ban.
it's not easy. You have no ways of really getting into position in the first couple of levels. So it's really going to come down to Vega Squadron being out of position more so than you being able to get on top of somebody yourself on your own volition.
10 seconds remaining.
So mid matchup is more or less decided. Extra
5
bands coming out,
seconds
Lifestealer
remaining.
taken away from elements. Vega Squadron, yeah. I think you better Juggernaut now.
Reserve time.
Juggernaut or Troll, one of those. Whoever you're worried about most, honestly. Almost want to say the Juggernaut. Yeah, but then again, both of them are equally scary almost. But Juggernaut has that pesky magic community to deal with. That being said, though, what lockdown Vega has does go through it, right? Warlock with the ultimate, Axe with the call, and Tusk even with the punch. It's not a lot of stun, but it's some form of control at the very least. They might want to think about getting maybe something else. Gyrocopter ban?
Dire
Alright, I
team
didn't
pick.
see that coming. I guess elements have run it before. I feel like I've seen it here on them, but it's just no synergy with the Magnus. Why would you pick a Magnus if you don't have
10
that
seconds
core
remaining.
synergy out of the one position? It just doesn't make too much sense. Unless you're kind of
5
forced into
seconds
it, but I
remaining.
don't think we're there at the draft. Yeah. Anyway,
Reserve time.
Vega. They have the supports, they have the mid, they have the offlane. All they need now is one position, or they could also do is run the Axe safe lane and then pick up a more aggressive safe laner. Maybe even something like Vengeful Spirit here, running out a tri lane between that, Tusk and the Warlock. Go aggro. Problem is you don't see the safe lane hero for elements, but maybe that's also why you banned out the Gyrocopter. I mean, that's a hero that can actually shift the balance a little bit. If you can't quite get on top of him, do the damage, then he can feel comfortable walking towards you with that rocket barrage do a ridiculous amount of damage. So maybe that was the thinking behind Vega there. If they want to contest straight off the bat, because up against a Clockwork Rubik, what are they gonna do? Nothing
Radiant
too
team
much.
pick.
Timbersaw though, huh? Yeah, that would fit into that. You would be the one left alone in the safe lane, and the axe would be the core in that aggro try.
10
But yeah, I can
seconds
definitely
remaining.
see that coming. Because Timber
5
doesn't
seconds
need too much
remaining.
help. He'll win the lane against Magnus hands down. Not that Magnus cares, because he's just
Reserve
gonna
time.
pick up an Iron Talent and empower up the jungle, as they normally do. But Timbersaw
10
doesn't need any
seconds
help, which does
remaining.
free up the Tusk, as well as the Warlock to help out the bottom lane, put on
5
pressure there.
seconds remaining.
Help out the Axe. Up against a Slag, I don't agree with this at all. It's still possible that Vega Squadron is not actually gonna go for this, but I would definitely exploit the hell out of this. Rubik, as I said, only so much he can do at level 1. Same for Clockwork. Cogs can be annoying, but you're not gonna be killed off of it. Slark as well, it's a hero that is absolute garbage up against tri lanes. So, either elements don't see this coming, or they're planning to dodge, but I don't think Slark versus Timbersaw is a good matchup either. Slark with these support heroes up against the Timber. Maybe Warlock rotates back. Axe still ends up in a 1v1 up against Magnus, which he should also win. And the task is free to roam around between mid and top. I don't know, I like Vega Squadron's lineup much better than Elements here. It's more solid lanes, very hard to kill heroes, and also heroes that explode in the mid game. Timbersaw will take some time to get online with his items, his Bloodstone and whatnot, before he can really start to show up and throw out that magical burst. But Temple Assassin will come online a little bit earlier, depending on how mid lane goes, and this is a favorable matchup for G. Then you also have an Axe with what should be a strong lane regardless of what's happening. And these supports enable them, so yeah, it's... Unless Elements just straight up outplay Vega in the laning stage, I don't see them having a lot of fun in going towards the mid game. But yeah, I don't know if that's bugged for spectators or captain's mode or whatever, or if those guys just don't have any battle passes. But we're gonna go with the standard towers with this one. Right. Because he couldn't quite make it just yet. So I'll be alone for the time being. Just take him off the overlay. There we go. My name, of course, is Dragon Job. If you're tuning in just now, welcome. This is game number 1 of a best of 3 between Vega Squadron and Elements Pro Gaming. The winner of the series will move on and join the other teams in the main qualifiers for the Summit 7. And Vega on the dire side here. The wall's being dropped under cover of smoke, so from both sides really, so these things get dewarded and it'll be more like a tingling feeling rather than knowing that someone's walked this way. Taunts start to come out.
30 seconds to battle.
Alright. Yeah, it's gonna be that safe lane Timbersaw. And yeah, as I would expect, Vega gonna be a little bit more aggressive with this. Braun on his way top, Gogi as well. And we have Mitch on bottom. So they are dodging, they did scout this out, Swift ending also making his way up top. Alright.
The battle begins.
As you would expect, based on the draft. So, might well see some form of musical lane swaps coming out now as well. Like sometimes when people dodge lanes, then you see TPs from the other lane, like from Afterlife, to find that matchup. And then the other team would then switch back to the safe lane and so on and so forth, and it goes on for a little bit, depending on who blinks first, but we'll see how it goes this time around. As I said, Timbersaw, not the worst hero to have around here. I'll now scout out that there's 3 heroes in that lane. And look at this, Yoma actually spending some time dealing with Pingman Check here, forcing him out. Being a bit annoying here in this lane at the very least. But yeah. Things with these lanes, Vega, if they want to adjust, they don't have to rotate the course. And that's my point. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna lose that trade, Yoma. I'd have to pop the Shrine actually, it's a lot of damage being done with just a level 1 Barrier Assault. Almost able to get the kill, but Silent now showing up. And nice ice shots actually blocking him in. So LeBron will take a couple of right clicks in return if nothing else. A rotation from G as he was still dealing with the mid lane. Fallout of course being pushed up all the way up here. But yeah, lines being drawn. Obviously down bottom you have an Axe up against the melee hero. Magnus with the Empower didn't even go for it just yet. He can deal with some matchups, but It's not exactly its kind of lane dominator uh, compared to an axe. So gotta keep that in mind. But yeah, for now, Pigman check. Still doing well. Sioma just taking over. GSG is dropping low. Doesn't quite have the bottle yet, just needs another couple of right clicks. Another Dragon Slave though. This dynamic will change a little bit more in favor of the TA though once you get more levels up in the refraction. Level 1 is like 3 instances. Yeah. It's still easy enough to burn through before it comes back off cooldown. The Pigman check can still reliably land these Dragon Slaves to actually do damage. Oh, LeBron once again finds G. And the first blood happens somewhere else while G barely makes it to the shrine here with the help of the Fairy Fire. But first blood meanwhile up top, while that action was happening. Tito's, I know, but I don't think you can blame me for that one. Meanwhile down bottom, we're just having issues. Skipping up in terms of CS though with Afterlife, which is impressive actually. It's kind of out of shockwaves though. Let's use the mango. Throw down another one. And also has to be careful to hold on to skewer mana. Make sure that he has that escape available, but once again, Battery Assault, LeBron doing shit. Finding silent here, but he has a bunch of creeps around and links up him and as well as Goki, and now the Rayo. Has a couple of utility spells available. Swift Ending going in deep for this kill. Should be able to find it. Maybe not. Silent is juking and jiving. Meanwhile, the Rayo finishes up the Rubik. And Swift Ending, yeah, can't really commit for it. The Rayo now shifting his attention to the Slug. Punching away at him a little bit, but now he's out of mana. And he has a Mango. Level 2 Timber Chain skilled up for this particular purpose. Making sure that you can keep up with the Slug. And dodging another one. Now it's really out of mana. LeBron also still sticking around. Well, it could have been much worse for EPG. As it stands, it's still pretty bad. Timbersaw here with an extra kill on the Rubik. Guess the flip side is this huge creep wave coming in now. That Swift Ending will be able to soak up 3 range creeps. That's a lot of experience. So there's a bright side to everything, I suppose. Well, Mitch down bottom. Finds himself some extra friends here with that creep wave. Middle lane though, okay, this could be a bit interesting. Pigman check, he's kind of out of mana, and he almost on the other side of it now angling for the ice shots. Doesn't quite get him in the proper lockdown with that sidestep, but LeBron does find Silent in the cogs, gets a heal off on himself here. The rest of his team helping out, trying to break through the cogs, but Pigman check has an electric very ill-fateable to lock him down regardless. So they get the kill here. And yesterday, the support clock didn't look so good. This time around though, LeBron all over the place here. He's still on level 2 though, 5 minutes in. This is the problem with this. If you don't find too many kills. Sure, he's been super annoying, he's been getting people to the rink. But that was the first kill he was actually involved in. So, and I was with 2 other heroes around. So he's still really hurting in the experience department. If you look to the other side, I guess you could say Sioma as well as Silent in a similar position. Also second pull being interrupted with that too, and this is where we see Sioma taking over mid lane, soaking some experience there, while G is just starting to farm in jungle just because it's so safe. But you can still dominate and win the mid matchup, but the TA once again just opting to go for the safe farm instead of just taking a chance. Which is something I can get behind, just because that's such a heavily momentum-based hero that you don't want to risk it. It's gonna be worth it in the long run if you can guarantee that you have the farm that you need to really be a monster in the mid game with Desert Blink. Still a long way to go, of course. Also needs boots first and foremost. Has them thrown out now together with completed Aquila. So LeBron picking up these boundary runes, sneaking those away. Afterlife will not be happy about that. Speaking of Afterlife though, he's level 6. He's leading the charts in terms of CS. Head of the mid laners right now. Of course, he can also fall back into the side jungle to keep farming there. And if he gets a quick blink, as I said, that's another one of these heroes that can blow up in the mid game. Vega have a lot of tools available if they get the time to just farm them up. Doesn't quite make sense, but it is. Okay, LeBron. He's gonna get the kill here. His level 2 battery assault. Call comes off. Dodge some of that right click damage with Afterlife. Yeah, he's dropping low. That shot's not quite on the money. It's very hard shots to land, so I can't really blame Sioma for that. And another set of cogs will make sure that LeBron will also stay alive, so good on him. Great kill to get. That was like a level 3 clock solo killing a level 7 axe. Think about that for a second. But yeah, any sort of delay that you can throw out on these kind of heroes, super valuable. How's Swift Ending doing? Level 6 now, so he can kind of sustain himself. Has the security available and not too bad in terms of farming, considering that there was really no good lane for him in this game. If compared to the Timbersaw, obviously, he's already level 8. Which is a bit of an issue. So far, I would say EPG on a good path if they can continue this, and they can continue level progression here on Clockwork especially. He's been making a whole lot of things work so far. But the jury's still out on whether it's going to be enough here. That's also a nice little movement here. Pingman check and Gogi. Smoked up. But with the lane pushing, they weren't going to find anyone anywhere close here, so they're hoping the Timbersaw will be farming the jungle. Actually, they'll find him on low ground. Do they have enough? Yes. Of course they do. That's a lot of magical damage for the Lina. What was he even thinking? Only 2 points up in the reactive armor, and even then, of course, you have to have the stacks going ahead of time to have that region to even have a remote chance. So G automates rotation in, but obviously too late to really affect anything. Once again, this time it's Silent who's getting some juicy levels in mid. Yeah, with all that's happening, especially that kill. Lena's now up at almost 4k net worth, 500 ahead of G. And I've been talking a lot about how explosive Vegas heroes are. But of course, the Lina is in a similar position at times. Once again, it's okay. That is a bit deep here. Timbersaw almost gets the kill. Should still be able to finish it off unless Gogi he can juke it out with the Timber Chains. I never seem to be able to do that, but of course, this is why he's the one playing in a professional game and I'm not. So there I am. Still only at 1 kill and the 2 deaths now after the last one. But at very least he doesn't get punished again. But yeah, both Linas will Timbersaw similar in the regards that they only really want to get super active once they finish the Bloodstones, which is of course a very expensive item to finish up. Till then though, Lina can do a little bit more, a bit more organized. Like she could say in backlines, you have a clockwork to potentially set up things like easy light strike arrays with the cogs and also keep the enemy team away from you. So Lina's a little bit easier to play for EPG in this game than the Timbersaw is, who just, I mean, we saw it, right? He goes in when he gets shoot. Can be really hard to find these angles, and until the blink daggers come out on Vega Squadron, or Tusk can find a good angle on some good ice shards and snowballs and whatnot, his team's not going to have an easy time setting him up compared to EPG. We're now smoked up again. LeBron and Gogi. Both of them just shy of level 6. If we can get a kill here. Actually, just got this level 6 of the creeps up top here, so it'll steal the ice shots. Not be blocked in by the proper ones. And Pingman check actually snowballed down here. The rocket's being dropped. Afterlife finishes up the blink and shows it off in style. Doesn't quite get the dunk, but they don't even need it. Yep, that's a bit of a commitment. But hey, get a kill with blink reveal, maybe another one too. He Afterlife dragged back, but now gets the call on two. The golem still wrecking away. LeBron with the cogs finds the on side of it too, and the eye shots keep him contained actually in his own little arena of death. So it's two more heroes down the drain. Couldn't ask for a better blink reveal play there from Afterlife. Vega just saying, "All right, guys, what are we waiting for? We have the Warlock Golem. Why not drop it down to get a kill on a high-value target and then, well, get another blink inside the trees." Speaking of blinks, there it is. Third one into a third kill, perhaps, with a follow-up snowball. Not quite in range though, but there it is. Once again, too quick for the dunk, but the Rayo also wanting a piece of the pie. He wants to have fun too. He says like, guys, I want to get a kill. I want to finish my my hood. Like that's what he's gonna be finishing here. I do like this decision of going straight for the Bloodstone. Yeah, I mean, if you go straight for Bloodstone, you're still gonna get killed by the Lina every single time, and you're not gonna be able to utilize those charges all that well. So go for the hood first in this game. I can get behind that. But now look at this. It's a triple stack, I believe, of Ancients. Bleed through, but both Afterlife as well as G, and that'll propel him forward quite a bit. LB is Desolator, pretty close to it. Yeah, still needs another 600 gold or so. 500, 600 gold. But rest of Vega, they really want to milk this one blink that they have for what it's worth. Smoked up, trying to set up for the bottom lane. They might find Swift ending here. The ward's being dropped down, and smoke not broken, so he doesn't know what's going on. This would be a great kill to get instead. And just focusing on securing this bottom tower here, expecting perhaps a rotation on the solo Timbersaw, but it's like if you want to use a hero to bait, the Timbersaw's not in. It really isn't. Very hard kill to get the best of times, so if you're not entirely sure where the rest of his team is, then well, would rather not go on him. I want to say for EPG. At the same time, Vega was maybe in the same kind of situation. They did see the Slark, I believe, but didn't feel too comfortable going in that deep into the jungle just yet from that angle. Well, EPG certainly isn't afraid. Smoked up themselves, looking to find something of their own. Once again, very standard play, plopping down the walls, setting up for the tower kill. If they can get a kill here, that's great, and they might actually TB in from Axe though. Blink call into mid on the Slark. Snowball to follow, but Mitch is ready. We're holding on to the RP for now. As Vega splitting forward, and now a lot of damage being done with the Desolator being finished up by G, and the Rock is being dropped just to secure that kill. So that didn't quite work out the way EPG wanted to. With that awkward angle that Vega came in from G, coming in from the right hand side, and Afterlife also TPing in, finding that immediate blink call. They don't get the kill on Slark, but they prevent the tower kill and also setting up for Roshan. Super easy to do now with this Desolator completed. Now with that kill, they'll also be halfway to the Blink Dagger on TA. Plus halfway to the Bloodstone of Timbersaw, so Vega Squadron. It's gonna get harder and harder for EPG to deal with them. Swift ending. He's up here, they don't know he's here though. Nope. Still nighttime, so yeah, he's the one with the vision advantage. Afterlife can't quite find the blink. So what does EPG do now? We have had the level 6 in Clockwork for a while. But we have not seen a hookshot yet, I believe. So this is something that you gotta look towards. You need something more out of this Clockwork. You need to constantly be on the move. It's not enough to just be annoying and do shit in the laning stage. Like walking at people with battery assault, as he's been doing. Oh, Afterlife, they see him actually with the random sentry. Dust also available. Gets the call off, but still being nuked down. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Did you see him pick up a... an Invis rune or something? I don't know. Anyway, up top. There it is, the Rayo. I see him now. Mitch is ready with an RP. And Skewer back first. 4 heroes around him. Can I kill him? And yes. With the 5th one too. Stolen call even from Gogi. Okay, that's super useful. But yeah, 5 heroes around. They secure themselves a really high value kill. G's still sticking around here as well. Not sure if that's the play. He does have some help though. No Warlock Golem for another 25. Sioma potentially ready with some sort of snowball play. But yeah. G, of course he has the Aegis though, so he can feel a little bit more frisky. So it's a bit of a damp on Vega, but as I said, EPG, they definitely, it's definitely on them to keep making these kind of plays. They need to be ones active right now. Try and prevent Vega from snowballing out of control. And if they can get this kill again, this would be huge. The Lights game misses though. So the Rail gets that barrier up. Swift ending. Has a Shadow Blade going straight for Silver Edge. Useful. Up against the spins here, so you can go on Axe without having to worry about that. Great against the Timber Saw, of course, as well, preventing these reactive armor stacks from building up more for another couple of seconds. If you already have some, then you won't get rid of them, though. And good Timber. Okay, that's a blink call. They find the Magnus, and this should be a quick kill, and it is. Plenty of nukes available to prevent any sort of RP kind of play potential. And they'll secure the tower, and okay, they want to go high ground. They're rare. Of course, this is, as I wanted to say, good Timbersaw players will try and keep the reactive armor stacks up whenever there's creeps available to do that with. So, brings them up to 44 health regen. Oh, that is Chakram stolen, lift back into the Lightstruck array. A lot of damage being done, but there's a counter initiation here. They just nuked down the Slark, they dropped on the rock, the Brown with a hook, but it's a little bit too late. Enough to perhaps make Vega think twice about continuing and even isolating the Rayo for a little bit, but he's still feeling great. Beautiful double call here. Dunk! Dunk! Thank you very much, sir. But I did say good day, or something like that. I know I'm not good with these kind of jokes. Get like one every 3 casts, one witty comment. And that's about it. But yeah, that was a great fight for Vega. And a couple of good kills, doing some damage to the tower. Of course, it's still rather early in the game, so the respawn times aren't that long. There is a blink on Magnus to worry about, so that blink RP play can still set the pace for Vega. In a bad way. But yeah, as it stands, get a couple of good kills, they get themselves closer to these big items. In fact, Timbersaw's finishing up the Bloodstone right now. Blink and TA, of course, done for a while. Going next, going into the PKB next. Oh, you're finding an Invis rune. Oh, this could be deadly for someone like Big Check here. Oh no! Oh no! Big Check! Oh no! Oh, telling him for a while, scouting out. But yeah, they're prowling. And EPG are none the wiser. They have no idea that this is happening. The Aegis just expired, but there it is. Blink call to set this up. Easy kill. Mitch getting out? Maybe, maybe not. Slow, but the blink is there. Yeah, good patient play. Waiting for the lockdown to come through. Bottom lane though, the Rayo comes through. And gets the killing, I guess. Okay. They thought they could fight him with 3 people, but apparently not. Do you have the silver edge yet? No, not quite. 1,000 gold away, and of course Swift ending. Very hard for him to find farm right now if you don't have map control at all. If you look at the dire side, good ward vision here, keeping an eye on the left hand side of the map. Right hand side of the map is bottom lane is being pushed in, Afterlife prowling around there, so it's not safe either. Right now it's Vega in complete control of the pace of the game. Yeah, Veggie. Yeah, these kind of plays also add to that in a way. I'm just sending a message, hey, yeah, you can't go out of the base. without fearing of being gone on. And I mean, if Afterlife is there, he gets a call off, that's a dead stock, period. It's just G. Of course, it can't kill him, but he can chase him away, can lock him back in base, keeping Swift ending from going for that safe and easy farm, forcing him to go away from his team. So now Afterlife gets a call off, instant nuke down. Extra Bloodstone charge for the Rayo. Yeah, now we're at that point where you gotta ask yourself the question, how does the EPG actually fight into this? With a good RP, I think is the answer to that. RP, skewer into Lean Electrical Ray, and then maybe they can make something happen. They catch G in that, he's still rather squishy if he can't manage his refraction charges and can't blink around in fights. And it's always going to be the case for Temple Assassin, but that changes just to hell now. Just as I say that, he gets the BKB delivered. Also just pick up the DD rune, just to make matters worse. You like skip the creep wave. They're gonna be one till their own gets there, but oh. Definitely don't want to fight because his dad is still up for EPG. Looking for Roche, may respawn in 20 seconds. Find out exactly when. Once the timer hits the mark. Looks like Vega's just content to force high ground, even without Aegis of their own. With the BKB to work with, Bloodstone charges, pulls the Blink ready from Afterlife, and another rocket. It's probably the most important part of their composition right now. And then counterplay potentially if Mitch decides to blink in. Oh, there it is. Speaking of blinks, Afterlife comes in, G to follow up and take out that RP potential right off the bat. The Rock catches LeBron here. Actually, was that a stolen Rock? No. Guess the call. I don't even know. It was stunned up. I think it was Electric Array that's stunned an RP next to Golem. A bit confused for a second, but yeah, the Golem's dead though. So far, good defense for EPG. Actually, did cost him a buyback on Magnus. Just once again, that threat of the blink RP, making sure that Vega doesn't commit too deep. Almost got the skewer off. Still has the RP, but has to be careful not to be nuked down. Timbersaw can do that to you at times. Meal up top. Yeah, okay, Swift ending. Waiting up the call and then going for the TP out.
Invisibility.
Alright, so overall, good defense. Minimal damage done to the tower, but they did get a ward in, which will make any subsequent pushes much easier for Vega to execute. I suppose I wish Roshan would respawn faster, but it's near max respawn time here actually. 1.5 minutes still left to go. So that'll probably be the next target for them to really make sure they can go ham on breaking high ground. Until then, just farm up. G going for an Orchid. Interesting choice. But a lot of potential uses for that. Can maybe precast it on Magnus if you see him. So if he then blinks in and silence him right away when he wants to go for the IP, and then suddenly that turns into a free kill. Raider trying to pick up Snark, but then again he still has a Silver Edge, so since he also carries detection, he won't be able to go for solo kills.
Incoming.
Clockwork has a Yule Scepter to deal with that. Lena, her own Shadow Blade. I think it's mostly for the Magnus. To have that extra bit of control available from your core. Because that's the one thing that the draft is still kind of lacking there. They have the Blink Cold, which is great, and Afterlife has been using it to its fullest extent, to its best effect in this game. But you want to have a bit of single target to make sure that you don't get caught out. Like Gogi here. There it is. Easy kill. But yeah, some sort of single target lockdown to make sure that you don't get caught out by that AP. It's just Vega looking at, alright, how can we lose this game? And what do we need to do to prevent that? It's only an illusion. Still gonna be able to farm up the creeper though if they don't get rid of it. Spin, spin, spin around. Quite enough. But hey, space created. The bottom lane is being responded to while Jay is soloing Roshan with some extra help if needed. But yeah, Aegis in hand. Bottom lane being defended by the Timber Saw that cannot really die at this point. So now it's just a matter of what lane Vega wants to push into. It's probably going to be a mid and bottom, and this is why I actually see LeBron doing a very smart thing. Going for the creep skip here, and if not killing the wave, just bring it down very low. Low enough for a single Dragon Slave to take care of it. Okay. The top lane is the choice. EPG kind of forced Vega into that. Mid and bottom, so now they're going for the smoke wraparound play. Vega smoked up themselves, and they go for the initiation first here. They find Pingman check. And this is dead here if I've ever seen one. Immediate buyback forced out, which is not ideal, but gee, it's way deep. He has the BKB, he pops it before the Aegis respawn. Now the silence helps take care with Mitch, so that's why you go for the Orchid. Oh yeah. They still go for the backstab? I guess they tried on the clock. He also dies. Tier 3 finally falls. And Braun, good card placement OG. He's still going way deep. And another snowball comes through. Same for the Timber Chain. LeBron dies again. Swift ending, also not long for the world. No buyback on either. Pigment check. Zaps down one, but it's only a support task. I don't think they particularly care. The Ray and a lot of damage with just a single combo. Trying to deal with him, but another blink call. Silence. Dead. And I don't think the Rubik can finish it off himself. So this should be the game, actually. Not calling it just yet. They still have to blink RP maybe once Max respawns, but they haven't even burned through the Aegis. 20 seconds until the next hero comes back alive. So yes, there's gonna be at the very least 2 sets of racks. Probably 3 in the game though. The blink call. Gogi also dies. Do trigger the Aegis now, but G was wanting that to happen, just to get back up to full health and mana. Shiva's Solar Crest. A lot of things going right for Vega. They're showing respect though. Not overdoing it here, not committing way too deep, just happy with what they got. Which is 2 sets of racks, only really losing a Tusk. But still, I mean, this network graph. It was a 10k before the play, and now with all this gold, up to 30k advantage. Experience, similar idea. And now, expedite that even further with the shrines. Taking those down. Guess Vega could theoretically just hold out and play the map controlled game until the next Roach comes up. We don't think they necessarily need to. Need to make use of the map control that they have already. They have the one deep ward in. Keeping an eye on the 2 deep wards, I suppose. Keeping an eye on some of these movements. Oh, they do find G. That's a great kill they can get it, but he pops some BKB, so there should be that Rubik with a couple of right clicks. Swift Ending also showing himself. Gets called, TRP, only on 1. Follow-up control here, Swift Ending still alive. LeBron with hookshot finishes up 1. But G still going ham. Right clicks galore, triple kill as the Raya also gets himself on a monster kill streak. No detection for Pingman Check, but yeah, him being last one standing into the EPG, have to call the GG here. It is game number 1 of the best of 3 series. Just a solid draft, EPG unable to really punch it as much as they needed to. LeBron had some good movements early, but ultimately once the hookshot came out, it just he wasn't able to use it. I don't think I've seen a single hookshot to initiate and get a kill. That's a bit of an issue, right? You have that hook shot, you have pigment check with the damage follow-up if necessary, but they just haven't really found the angles. And instead, Vega Squadron got all the time in the world that they needed on their course to farm out these items. The Bloodstones, the Blinks, Afterlife has done a great job expediting that as well, getting a quick blink in the jungle and utilizing that to create space for the rest of his team. So, yeah, just all around well executed from Vega. The draft had their weaknesses, I guess, but uh, yeah, Elements missed the timing to actually exploit them. Yeah, that was game number 1. This is a best of 3 though, so Elements have another chance to keep their hopes alive of making it to the main qualifiers of the summit. My name is Dragondrop. I'll be back in a couple of moments' time, so don't go too far away.
E-gaming bets